My project is a joint project between the music department and the visual arts department it used to be called Symphony Interactive, so some of you may have heard it under that name. Through the MII process, we've now changed the name to Octava, Your Concert Companion. This is what this is a tablet app that delivers real-time program information during classical music concerts. So any of you that have been to classical concerts have probably experienced the beautifully written program notes that are in the program that is a wonderful essay about whatever you're about to hear. Once the lights go down, you can't see it. And 15 minutes into a 45-minute piece, you can't remember what it said anyway. So this is, the program note was an innovation in the 19th century that we're realizing in the 21st century, because of the ubiquitous tablet apps that we now have available to us, we can now implement these in real time and really provide an opportunity for audiences to learn as they listen. We've designed it to be unobtrusive and visually quiet. So the background that you're seeing here is actually one that Eric Smallwood, my PI on the project, developed as part of our Dvorak New World Symphony program. And you can see that with the white on the dark, white text on dark backgrounds, during a concert, it's the glare that one would normally have from a tablet or from a phone is not present. So this is what we're calling this visually quiet, and it helps audience members to engage with the performance. So again, I'm writing the content, which is little tweet size, basically bits of information that are delivered at the exact moment that you need them during the concert. Eric's backgrounds give a kind of overall sense of the piece. So in the Dvorak New World Symphony, for example, it was very much influenced by American landscapes, particularly the prairie. So you can see a little bit of that in the background from this slide. Also, we had in mind an elegant design that matches the elegance of the classical concert setting. So when people go to concerts, they're going to a hall that's built specifically for this particular purpose. You're entering an environment, you've paid a high price for a ticket, so you want an experience in your tablets that's going to match the aesthetics of that experience. And so that's been very much an important concept, part of this concept. It's also a way to build audiences, to support educational missions, and increase revenues for symphony orchestras. You all probably know that they're taking a hit, that the arts are having a hard, and in fact, live events in general are taking a hit. So even the NFL is dealing with this, that people are much more content to stay home, watch on TV, whatever, not deal with the cold. In classical music, it's a similar sort of thing is taking place. So we're trying to, and as a result, all symphony orchestras now have educational programs as part of their offerings. So we're tying into that market as well as helping them to increase their revenues as a result. Why Octava? As I said, audience numbers for live performances are declining. Arts education in schools continues to struggle for relevancy in an age of testing. We find that schools are continually cutting arts programs, so we don't have as educated an audience as we used to have in our industry. Large arts organizations are continuing to seek the use of technology and performance to appeal to the audiences, but my experience is that they tend to do this in very clunky ways. So they'll have a huge video monitor behind the orchestra, which requires an awful lot of expensive tech setup, staff to run it, etc. Our proposal is one that allows people to bring their own technology. It's a more quiet way, it does not intrude with other audience members who perhaps don't want that technology in their listening experience. And so this is a level of intimacy that was not previously available, so we're tapping into that as well. It provides an opportunity for real-time education and enhanced understanding and engagement through the use of a non-intrusive technology. As part of the MII grant, working with Dave on our proposal, we had to develop milestones. So as you heard, this is a new language of developing a proposal. So in the humanities, everything is very much about having a beautiful narrative, having a narrative that explains, makes a case for, develops the proposal. The MII and commercialization process is very, very different from what we're accustomed to in our field. So Dave had infinite patience working with us in developing a proposal that would really speak to with a language of commercialization as opposed to a language of getting a National Endowment for the Arts grant or a National Endowment for the Humanities grant. So as a part of that, we had to develop milestones. What, as a part of commercializing this project, what would our steps be in creating a pathway toward commercialization? So this is an example of the kind of milestones. So milestone 1, develop content and visual templates for the 30 most often performed orchestral works. So as part of our research, we accessed data from the League of American Orchestras, where they actually track what's being performed in symphony orchestras. So from that list, I called the top 30, thinking that they would be the most commercially viable ones to try to sell as part of this program. And so this year, as part of the MII grant, we're partnering with University of Maryland College Park to work with graduate students there in musicology to develop the content. And Eric is working with graduate students here in the MFA program in visual arts to develop backgrounds as part of that. So that's our first milestone. The second milestone is to produce a prototype for use at professional venues and in the classroom using visual materials in a downloadable app that runs from a Wi-Fi signal. So the technology of this is something that we had to develop newly for this. How do you deliver this content once you have it is part of the question. So the MII grant enabled us to hire a professional programmer who could really work with us to solve some of the Wi-Fi problems we were having. We've now got it as a web-based system, which is great. That means that we can take it anywhere in the world, really, and broadcast it via the web with a robust Wi-Fi capability. The classroom use is something that we're also exploring as part of MII. It occurred to us that that adding to our market would be educational use in the classroom for anything that happens in real time. So not only music, but video, film, theater, these sorts of things where teachers, for the most part, when they're teaching music, and this is what I've dealt with for 30 years as an educator, you either yell over the music as it's playing, or you stop it and talk about it, which disrupts the experience of the piece. So this will enable educators in the classroom to deliver that information quietly and in real time, and then save the discussion for later on. We're also exploring the possibility of having this as an authoring program for educators, where they can write their own notes, and students can write their own notes, collaborating in a blog type setting. So we're exploring that with some teachers as part of the MII grant as another potential market for this. Our third milestone is to prepare a marketing strategy for market entry for educational and orchestral projects. So the MII has enabled us to actually hire a marketing consultant. This is something that is absolutely essential. We have no idea how to market. I mean, it's just not something that we're taught as professors. It's not where our skills lie. So to have somebody who has connections with the symphony orchestra industry to consult with us has been a huge benefit of that program. And then our fourth milestone is to develop documentation. Obviously, if we're going to sell this product, we have to have documentation so that people can implement it. Up to this point, as part of the small internal funding that we were able to receive from UMBC, we were only using it on iPads. So of course, we have to be able to port it to Android in order to make this commercially viable. So that's another element of the MII funding that has been really important for us. The outcomes from this project, we've been working on this since 2011, really. So the MII this year is the result of a number of years of developing this. Really, I had to learn a whole new language. This kind of grant does not, as I said, use what we typically would use in the arts and humanities. So working with Dave to develop that kind of language, it reminded me a little bit of when I became a department chair and the language of administration and the way the administration talks about budgets, et cetera. There's a whole language of administration that I had to learn as part of that process. So this is, again, a new country. Learning the language of business and marketing has been an important part of this. thinking about marketing, thinking about this culture, so being a part of these various, we've been presenting a tech breakfast, we've been a part of a roundtable, so hearing how people who are in this industry, in this commercialization field, talk about what they do, how they present what they do, has been a very, very interesting process, but it's one I think that you want to be sure that you're interested in. Because it's an important piece of this. And then a new definition of success. So the idea of not just having people engage with the product and enjoy it and tell us that we're doing a great thing, but actually to be able to form a company that will be able to market this project and have commercial success is a new definition of success for me. So it's not just getting the grant, it's actually then using the grant to get to this next stage. So the MII, again, the support that MII has provided in terms of development, in terms of UMBC staff, we have a site miner. Dave Fink was essential in actually getting this thing off the ground. He's a wonderful listener, so to be able to talk with him about the project and have him be able to hear what the commercial potential was and let us know that was actually, you know, kind of eye-opening for us to be able to talk with him about that. Wendy's office doing intellectual property was also essential. She did a lot of background research to find out if there was anybody else doing this, would we have competition, et cetera. So that was an essential part of the project. She's now working with us on trademarking, so that's another piece of it. So there's, UMBC has these resources that are really incredibly valuable in working on this. And then, of course, mentorship overall. Also, Dave has offered us introductions in the business community, so people going to talk with people who have perhaps similar interests or some tangentially interested, but just hearing how people have gotten their projects going, how they've formed their companies. He's introduced us to a venture capitalist firm who might be interested in taking this on. We've been invited to present a tech breakfast. I'm part of an MII roundtable now, which is meeting every other month for 3 hours. A group of us from MII in different stages, some are in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, so we can learn from one another, again, about the language of business. And then, as I said, the grant pays for a marketing consultant, which has been really invaluable to us. This is somebody who was a the League of American Orchestras has internship programs, so she was a part of this internship as a young person right out of college. She's been at orchestras all over the country. She knows the language of that culture. So again, you know, we're dealing with a number of different cultures. How does the symphony orchestra market, which is an extremely conservative market, how do we break into that with a technology has been a major question that she's been helping us with. I think that's my last slide. Yeah. So thanks, and I'll.